So a lot goes into making a book, I found out. So first of all, it was like imagining a story. And you have to start somewhere. And I'd collected all of the, I'd spent a few years collecting all of my letters and anything, all the workshops I'd done. I knew where the stuff was, because after 30 years, there's a lot. And so that was ready. And then I put it on my computer, just the important parts, so that I had this sifting out of what was important to me at this point in my life and what was just day-to-day stuff that I didn't need anymore. So it was sort of like clearing my mind, clearing the space. And then wanting to know what the purpose of my life was and the meaning in it and how it unraveled or unfolded, and what part the teachings played in it. So then it was getting drawn down and down and down and seeing what it takes to bring it into your life and live my life. So what was this story going to be about? A woman, or the ashram, or the teachings, or my teacher? And it just seemed that the most important part to me was my relationship with Swami Radhananda. And that was the story when we started to look at it, because it had a beginning and an end with her. She's still going on in my life, but she isn't here physically. So as far as yoga was concerned, I wasn't knowledgeable about that at all. And my introduction was when my friend Susan came back from the ashram with the Divine Light Invocation, and we did it. And it seemed transforming in itself. And so there was a seed that was planted, but it wasn't to do with what I thought yoga was, or I had no idea, really. But I thought, if this is the yoga, this is pretty good. And so it was like, the next thing was that Susan and I, or at least I packed my jeans and my t-shirt, and we got in a Volkswagen van and drove to the ashram for Women in Spiritual Life, which Swami Radha was giving, and was going to be there at least. And so from there, it was like this immersion. Like as people come to the ashram for the first time, there's this deep immersion when something opens up in you that you didn't know was there. And so it was. And that's how the story starts. So when I returned home from the Women in Spiritual Life, and begin to practice the light, I'm not sure if I expect results, or maybe just fear of change. What will it bring? I worry that everyone will notice that I am different. Slowly I begin to bring little changes into my family life, quality time and actions, time to really connect with the children, to appreciate what I have, to do the Divine Light once a day. At first it feels awkward, but I persist. I read over what I've written at the Women in Spiritual Life conference. I find it difficult to be clear. What are my ideals? Who is that white form that I experienced in satsang, and where is she now? How often can I receive the light and use it? What am I supposed to do exactly? What about the mantras? Can I use them for the sake of repeating them because they sound nice? Must I have a purpose? How do I recognize what I need here? How do I know if my actions and reactions are right? I seem to be under the shadow of a former religious dogma, and one I can't figure out. I don't feel confident. I feel as though I'm very young and childish, sometimes embarrassed. Why do I cry for Swami Radha and feel overwhelmed by the light? How can I grasp the strength and energy back from the conference? What is real? Or was it just relaxation and opening? Or brainwashing into a way of life that I won't be able to cope with? Who is writing this anyway? So just think what your one ideal would be for today. So take it in small bits so that you have an ideal and you have it for the day, and then see how they build. So just take a moment.